Today's message comes from my great, 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 great Aunt Ione. And the reason that she came through is because I was first thinking about an historical connection I have to the Stanley Hotel and just pondering on that and appreciating it. And that family connection is through her side, my aunt Ione. And there's family lore about her. There was a lot of money in that on that side of the family, and it lasted for a long time, and then it ended with Aunt Ione. When she passed, she gave all the money away to I don't know who. It doesn't matter to me, but there was a lot of anger about that in my family. Uh, because there's a lot of it, and it would have been helpful, as it usually is for families to have more money, and Ione decided not to give it to the family. And so there's always been stories about her being pompous and arrogant and unkind and having unkind comments, and that's just lived in my head canon about Ione. I never knew her. She's been gone since I think the 40s or 50s at this point. And I was thinking about that today and thinking about how unfair it is that Ione didn't share the family money and the family dynasty really with the family. And then she came through and she said that it's not what I imagine it was. And she laid bare her experience. She was an unmarried woman with no children. And this was during a time when that was not acceptable. And she was treated as such. She was jeered at, she was laughed at, she was treated like she was less than by both her family and by her community at large. And when she had the chance, she gave the money to a charity that she believed in. She didn't feel she should have to give her money to people who treated her like she was a pariah because of her choices. I also feel that those choices came from emotional limitations on her part. I think she was emotionally limited, and she acknowledges that now. But the reason she came through, I think, is to remind us that even for those whom we think we have a deep understanding of their limitations and we think we know the story behind their actions, we usually don't. And we're reminded to remain open and have compassion, even for those people who behave in ways that we find to be repellent, and unacceptable, that they probably have reasons that we don't understand, even those who behave in ways that are criminal. Not to excuse the actions, but rather to try to investigate the ways in which we are similar to them so that we can heal our own tendencies toward the same actions. Perhaps not at the extent that some people commit horrendous actions, but we're all capable of it. And so I think she's coming through today with that reminder. And the reason I'm quite sure she's coming through with that is because I happen to be an unmarried woman with no children. And I don't have any feelings about that whatsoever. But I live in a time when that's possible. And having that understanding of her coming from a time when that was not acceptable to be unmarried and childless, I have a deeper appreciation for what she carried and what she suffered and why she made the decision she made. Was it the right decision? I don't know. Maybe she could have been forgiving, and maybe that's part of her message as well, to be forgiving, but she couldn't be. She couldn't forgive, and she didn't. And she had her reasons. We don't have to agree with them, but it helps to try to put ourselves on the level of that person and to remember that we are all one. that we are all capable of the same mistakes, no matter what they are. And that rather than holding up the torch and crying out that they should be burned, it's important to instead have compassion and send love and healing their way, which in turn frees us and helps us to never repeat the same mistakes that they made. Thank you.